we have here some random topics. Are you ready, girls?
Yes.
Okay, so here we go. Oh, wow. Body image and beauty standards. So we want to talk about the impact of social expectations on women's self-esteem and the portrayal of beauty in media. Wow. Who wants to start?
This is deep.
Y'all have to. I'll start.
Okay.
So 6 months ago, I was hospitalized. I was 80 pounds heavy. And for a very long time, I was very depressed because I was obese. I hated the way I looked. I thought about having surgery, but it took me going to the hospital to give me the wake-up call to get myself back in shape. Because I have loose skin, I'm still considering having surgery with Dr. Z in South Miami because I'm still not happy with the way I look, but I'm healthier. I can do things that I couldn't do before. I mean, just a simple bending down, I was huffing and puffing. To go up one flight of stairs, I was huffing and puffing, but I'm still not happy with the way I'm where I'm at because of all the loose skin for me getting myself back into shape.
Wow. Thank you very much for sharing that experience.
Do you think in part, and I'm asking this question because of recently on Instagram, I've been seeing pages dedicated to showing how a lot of celebrities, how they look when they're captured, like during a photo shoot or on the red carpet versus what the original photo looked like. And it's not to shame someone or make them, you know, to say, you know, you're not perfect, but it's to show the reality that, you know, there are things that enhance, you know, their image and their look. And, you know, when we see those things, even if we don't outwardly verbalize it, you do feel like you have some type of threshold to meet, or what products should I get, or what are they using, and not really knowing either that if they are using products that maybe they're getting paid, which social media is good about holding celebrities accountable. But I ask because, you know, do you feel that you're not happy, that you said that you weren't happy? Is it because you feel that you are perhaps comparing yourself to a certain standard like the question spoke to, or is it just basically how you feel and what your aspirations are?
Twofolds.
Okay.
First of all, I want to have that quote unquote perfect body, the hourglass. And so when I go out, I can't show my tummy because of all the loose skin. It doesn't look right. So I want to at least be I want to be happy with the way I look, and I'm not happy, but I'm better where I'm at before. I think it changed my whole perspective and how I carry myself, how I walk, how I just delegate certain things. It just feels good to not have to be huffing and puffing.
Right. So the health aspect is one thing. I guess the image is another. So you led by saying the perfect body.
Right.
And somewhere someone told us that. You know, so when we look at history, what people may think as not a perfect body was the perfect body then. You know, it meant abundance, it meant prosperity, you know, even when you think about, you know, either, you know, having children or whatever, the things that we have these negative stereotypes about now, it really just depends on the perspective. So, I mean, I just put that out there because I understand wholeheartedly, you know, your viewpoint. But just curious to give you that to consider. That, you know, when you think about the perfect body, you know, like you said, you are breathing better. You know, so there's a health aspect and then there's a vanity aspect.
Right.
So it's a balance of.
Yeah.
Too.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
For those of you who know me and for those of you who don't know me, I've had a very long journey with this. And I think if you're a woman and living in this society, we're all going to feel what you're feeling. Like that sense, the need for striving of some form of sense of perfection that is being curated by the media. And yes, my name is Midia. But I'm talking about truly the media, right? What we are being fed with every day, whether it's advertisements or whether it's just show publications. I can relate. And the reason why I say this is because even this week, you know, how synchronistic everything is, but I did a post about my own self-love and beauty journey, and it was about having surgery, because in 2014, for those of you who do not know me, I had a BBL, which is a Brazilian butt lift, right? It was I'm being very honest about it, because I did a post and I received so much feedback on that post. Is that what I wrote is that in 2014, I decided to do a BBL because I no longer wanted to, quote unquote, edit my pictures. And I wanted to feel what it would be to have the perfect shape, the perfect body. What happened after I had my surgery? I found more things to fix instead. I didn't find that feeling of peace that we're talking about, that we think like, okay, I have this transformation, now I'm gonna enjoy it. Instead, I found more things to fix, quote unquote. And it became a mindset, literally like, okay, when I fix my nose, it will be this. When I fix my wrinkles, I'll feel better. When I fix this, and it just became one of those journeys of, honestly, I didn't see my face for 10 years without beauty enhancements. And I didn't even know that I was addicted to that until I had a partner who asked me to see me without all of that. And that was the first time I was just like, no, you can't see me without that, because this is who I am now.
Right.
And he was just like, well, I want to see you without Botox, without fillers. Can I just see you?
Right.
Like, are you going to do this when you're 70? And I was just like, yes, I will do this forever. And, you know, and he challenged me, because he was just like, well, I would like to, like, the type of woman I would love in my life is somebody who's very comfortable with themselves. And that means accepting yourself wholeheartedly, just as God made you. And the way, you know, I felt in that moment was, I was not receptive. So anyone who's going through this journey, I was rebuttaling. I was rebuttaling a lot, like, this is what I need. And I remember Satonya. So the same way as she just had a really powerful question, right? You asked me and you kept constantly pointing me back inwards. Well, how do you feel about yourself? And I didn't like that question either, because at that moment I didn't like myself that much, you know. But that was my journey. This is you know, every journey is different, and my journey was that I constantly felt like I wasn't good enough unless I looked like the Kim Kardashian. Like, that was literally what I was striving to. And I am grateful that I've had people who came in and wanted to see the real me, because that took me on a whole different journey of acceptance and embracing where I'm at today, no matter how I show up, no matter how I look like, and not leaving the mirror until I said, hey, I love you. I'm proud of you. Because I am the expert of finding everything like everything wrong in the mirror. I was an expert of doing that. Every time I would look in the mirror, I would see, oh, you gotta fix this. Oh, you have a wrinkle coming in. Oh, we can't have that. Oh, you got this. Oh, we gotta fix this. We gotta make the lip bigger. I was an expert at that. Like, they had a couch with my name with VIP section.
I just want to have one surgery, but then I also understand that it's the mindset. You can't allow it to be an addiction.
There you go.
I just want a tummy tuck, and then I'm good. I'm good.
I think everybody's different. So that's why I'm like, it's your journey is your journey, and you had children. That's why I'm like, listen, once
I had one child, and that was traumatic in itself. So I had my one child. I thank God for her, and I'm like, I'm good.
I just always said, I was like, you know, once you have children, I can't say to anybody, like, don't do this or that, because the body changes so
your
much
body changes,
when we give birth. And listen, if you want to do it, do it. I just know that ask yourself the questions that Satonya just asked.
Well, how do you feel about yourself?
Well, I think I'm sitting here and I have all these different emotions, because you are taking me back, because I was there during that time, and it was very painful to see you go through that, because in my mind you were putting your life at jeopardy, and you were willing to risk putting your life at jeopardy for that. And I remember when you showed me the picture, And literally, I could see us. We were in Wynwood, I think outside of Panther Coffee, and literally tears just like jumped out of my eyes because the only thing that I could think was like, if I was your mother and you were my baby, like to see you to go through that. And I knew it was a struggle for you, so it wasn't like judgment, you know, I was there, you know, to go through the process, but it was very painful. You know, recently, I want to say in the past couple of weeks, there was a young lady, Jackie O, the wife mother of three, and she passed away.
Having surgery.
Something happened with Kanye West's mother getting a tummy tuck. So it's just one of those things where obviously anything can happen at any point for anything, right? But for me, it was just like whatever pain that you were going through where you wanted to fix it, that was what you saw as the only resolution versus the permanent, you know, consequences of it. I knew that you were struggling.
You're right.
You know, so it wasn't for me to judge you. It was for me to be there, to just support you. It wasn't for me to say anything. It was for me to ask, like I would ask for you, but not for me to tell you what to do.
And you didn't tell me what to do. You asked,
Yeah.
The
and
right
you made me
questions.
reflect.
Yeah.
You did make me reflect. And I will say that it wasn't an easy process because the
You were convinced.
addiction to that.
But to plastic surgery?
Not just plastic surgery. I think addiction to perfection is very strong because it's not. I mean, I started young, right? Like I literally when we talk about we're being programmed when we watch TV. We are. When I was watching Baywatch, I was watching 90210. Like you watch these. And I lived in Sweden at the time. I didn't live in U.S., right? But we would get the American shows. And what U.S. does is, I mean, U.S. is a country that leads the trends all over the world. So the U.S. shows would lead the trends, right? And if I'm a teenager girl and I'm seeing all of a sudden all the women are C cup and D cup, and that is what I want. That is what's going to make me popular. That is what's going to attract boys to my yard. No, but it's literally that. That was my mindset. That like when I get this, I'll be wanted or I'll be popular or whatever that is. So the moment I turned 18, I was already like, you know, oh, I need those lips like they are like Pamela at the time it was Pamela Anderson. I'm just taking that. But I needed that. And I remember my friends who first saw me do my lips, now, you know, lips injections is everywhere. But back then in 2000, like 1998, like it wasn't that many people. And my friends looked at me and they're like, you look like a duck. What are you doing? And they were like,
they were making fun of me.
They were making fun of me because they were just like, what did you do to your face? You're so pretty. What did you do? You look like a ducky. Like, and you know, I was just like, no, you're hating on me. This is what people look like in magazines. And so I can see that it's like it started very early on, like that sense of, okay, U.S. is this power that we all look up to, and whatever. Honestly, a lot of the trends come from here without even realizing they're going to be trends. But I literally aspire to be like the people in these People magazine and you know, like OK magazine, whatever that was back in the days. So
but you didn't know they weren't real.
I didn't know that. I didn't know it was touched up. I just all I saw was what was being presented. So I think
what beauty looks like, right? And that you want to imitate that.
Imitate that, and then with that comes also, right, a sense of, well, I'm not good enough as I am. I have to become this in order to be accepted, in order to be liked, in order to be loved. And when I first met my partner today, he shattered all of those beliefs for me because he was just like, I want to see you with no makeup. I want to see you with no Botox. I want to see you with no fillers.
He wanted to see,
he wanted to see me. Yeah, right. And
he loved your heart.
But that was the first.
He didn't see your face. He saw what was in it.
He saw me, right?
He saw
and he was trying to show me, and I was struggling very hard to show that because I had gotten used to putting all the stuff upon me that it was difficult to show me. I didn't even know who I was without that. Like going to the store with no makeup. So that's why today, like for instance, I don't wear as much makeup. Right now I don't have any makeup.
You don't need it. You really don't.
But it's more, I think it's more, now it's a self-expression of, I love makeup as a self-expression. It's not an addiction anymore. Does that make sense? Like it's not, oh, I feel bad without it. Now it's like, I love me like this, Anna loved me like this, and how I feel today.
I'm not a makeup person, but when I go out and it's a really nice event, I'll put it on. But I hate makeup. The most you're get me to wear at work is lipstick. That's it. And people like, you got all types of lipstick. I'm like, I'm not putting all that junk on my face because I like to put my hands on my face. But when I'm going to an event, they're like, people like, who did your makeup? I'm like, I did.
For me, the experience was a little bit different. I was in some way tired of people saying, oh, you're so pretty. I say, oh, I don't want them to tell me that I'm pretty. I want to see the beauty within me. So, consciously or not, I start gaining weight because I want to hide. In some way, I don't want people to see me for my physical body. I want people to see me for who I really am.
Right.
So yes, I guess out of hands. It got really, really bad. So it was in the period, let's say, of 10 years, I kept gaining weight and gaining weight and gaining weight. Of course, more inner reflection. I was, radiating from within. Right. So people look at me and they don't even notice the overweight.
Right.
But I was doing harm to myself. 2 years ago, I have a wake-up call because I was playing with my nephews and I was puffing and coughing. I said, come on, it's not possible that I cannot even enjoy this, that I really am looking forward, and I cannot play with them because I have no energy. So I make the decision, I say, okay, this is it. Stop punishing yourself. You can be beautiful within and without, and you don't have to prove to anybody by gaining weight. So I start my journey. So far, I've lost 140 pounds.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. It's
That's amazing.
It's been a process, but in that is that understanding of who you really are and that you don't have to pretend anything for anybody.
Right.
Yeah? For me, it was the opposite. And before, I was no makeup at all because I was this is who I am. But now I understand. I like it. I like it how I look like, so why not? Why I cannot use that if I really like it, right? But is that acceptance on the other side? Because for me, was rejecting everything, right? So I was doing totally the opposite.
Wow.
But then you understand that the middle ground is the best place to be.
Right.
And to love yourself, accept yourself. And yes, they have some consequences like the loose skin and all that. But I mean, for me, it's not a big deal right now.
For me, I'm like, when I take off my clothes, I'm like, all this loose skin. There's so much exercises you can do, but when that loose skin hangs, sometimes it's so bad that I can't even feel the loose skin so much, and it's kind of depressing. But I still love myself. I still love myself. But I would never wear anything that's skimpy because I dress really conservative. I'm like, okay, we're gonna get rid of this little tummy, this little skin. Just give us some time.
I think that if you do it with the right intention, that's okay. But if you do it because I want other people to love me, that's not the right way to go through that, I think.
And honestly, I think majority now, even looking at just how the trend is going, it's becoming younger and younger, and I don't think it's about I've been through this so I have to get the surgery for that. It's more elective. It's becoming elective to fulfill this beauty standard that is not real.
That's unrealistic.
It's consistently being perpetuated. So before it was like entertainment, but now it's 24/7 in the palm of our hands that young girls, and there's even cosmetic surgery for men. That they're changing their jawlines and,
They have the perfect abs.
Well, so I want to flip that question. How do you feel for that, with cosmetic surgery for men? What does that look like in terms of the men that you would date, how would you receive that? Is that something... I'm just curious because as women, it's much more okay for women. I guess, like you said, men it's more recent.
But I think that they do it for the same reason. Self-image. They want to feel better and they cannot get there, so they use the surgery to do that, right? But still, I mean, personally, I think that it's important to love yourself, no matter what. No matter what. And that's an internal journey. Nobody can do it for you.
Right.
So each person have to go through that and understand who you are, how you look like is amazing, and that's it. So but acceptance is a lot.
I feel like I wish they would do some kind of I don't know, like a course or something before you do some kind of surgery where
Absolutely.
you get
A counseling.
Yeah.
counseling and also like a self-love journey, some kind of
counseling.
transformation where you get to, do you really want that? Like, because once you get to the root of it, it's never, at least in my experience, it's never about whatever you're fixing.
No.
It's
It's
the root
always
is
something more.
And
right?
sometimes
deeper.
I notice some people, they go into the surgery, they don't even know what they're going to do. And when they come out, they say, oh my goodness, this is terrible, right? Because they feel
It's
really
not.
bad because the after the recovery is really hard, right?
And I'll be honest with you, I dislike myself so much, and I have to say this because I really did at one point not like my body, right? And I've known Satonya here for quite some time, so she did see me before and after. And I remember going into Dr. Miami, so shout out Dr. Miami. This is before Dr. Miami became Dr. Miami, but I remember going to his office, and one thing that I do appreciate, because I was so tired of myself, how just I looked like, I wasn't appreciating myself at any moment. And I walked in, and I had a picture, I think it was Iggy Azalea, or yeah, I think it was that actually. And I was just like, this is how I want to look like. And he took a look at my body, and he was just like, I'm not touching your boobs. Because I wanted to have a whole
Everything.
makeover, right? I wanted to be
Wow.
perfect. So I literally walked in, I was, I guess, the perfect patient where you walk in and you're like, fix
Do
me, doctor,
everything.
do everything, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And
I thought about going to him.
See?
I thought about going to him, but I was like, nah. I did my homework, and I was like, no, I want to go to Dr. Z.
well, you might change your mind after what I tell you. Because what he told me was literally, I'm not touching your boobs. I'm only going to touch this part. This is what you want. Like, you're going to have you're going to beat off the boys with a stick and some get with you, you know, like, and I was just super excited. But he didn't touch anything else. And I'm so grateful for that, because I came in wanting to spend more money, wanting to change myself.
And he
said no.
No.
And he said, nope, your boobs are perfect. I'm not touching them. Like, da, da, da. He's like, once you have children, if you still, want to do that, we can talk. But right now, I'm not touching your boobs. And don't you ever dare let anybody else touch your boobs right now.
Wow.
And for me, that was,
The best experience.
I am so grateful, Dr. Miami, if you're watching, thank you. No, for real, because that, I would have done it. I would have done whatever was needed to be perfect. So
But
I'm
see,
grateful
that's a
that he said no.
That's a doctor that understood. He wasn't motivated by the power of money.
No.
He really was like, no.
What is the best for you?
Yeah.
And what looks good on you? Because
Right.
sometimes the perception that you have, the doctor with the experience will say, no way, that's not for you.
Well, I just honestly, I'm grateful that he said no, because I could have looked even more different. Than I do today, if he would have been a doctor with no integrity, right, and just like paycheck, like this is a check, because that's another 5,000 or whatever that is cost today, you know.
Yeah.
So
Like you said, it's a more deeply seated problem, because it wasn't just about making you perfect. You had to maintain that.
yeah.
And there was a lifestyle in addition to this, that you have to do to maintain. So if you don't change your lifestyle, you're not able to maintain that. And how often can you go back to it? I think we're up for a commercial.
Yes.
All right now.
So we're going to go into commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have amazing conversations.
No,
All right.
no,
Not
not yet.
yet?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. So let's continue then.
Even better.
Okay.
Even better.
Even better.
Well, one of the words that really jumped out when you were talking was about hiding. And a part of my journey has been hiding. A part of it was when I was younger, I was hid. So because of my stature, I was always dressed in clothes that were significantly bigger than what my actual size was.
Right.
So I didn't know how to wear my size, and I always get, and Midia is one of them, that talks about, oh, you should, do this or wear this, and it's like, oh no, when you're not accustomed to seeing it, you feel, you don't feel comfortable. So for me, as a child, it was something that it was more of like a stigma or something where I didn't want someone to look at me, because in some aspects it was always like a over sexualized manner, and so you didn't know how to just be without getting that type of attention. And so, you know, whether it's with work or, you know, when you speak about dressing conservatively, you know, getting attention, and it's not the right attention is not the attention that you need, right? So you do kind of become more recluse, and so it's something that I would probably say I've gotten better, but it is definitely something that I struggle with, especially now that I'm getting older. You know, there is a certain you know, way of dressing that you know, you can't dress like you're, you know, 19, 20 years old anymore.
No.
You know, even if you could, you shouldn't.
It doesn't look the same.
It doesn't look the same. So yeah, I definitely think that media has a stronghold, because those are images that we're constantly surrounded by, and unless you have a foundation, you know, it will you know, play tricks on you. Really, it will play tricks on you. Right. Because you don't know what's real.
Right.
And so when you look at these pictures, I mean, it's I can't think of the name of the page now, but when you find it on Instagram and you see, you're like, wow.
And
This is how they really look
This
like,
is how
right?
they really look.
And a lot of those women use filters. I didn't even know about the filter with Instagram. I would just show my face and like, oh, you look beautiful. And they're like, oh, you use a filter? I'm like, what are you talking about?
What's that? What's that?
I'm like, filter? There's a filter on it? Yeah. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that.
Awesome. So we're having an amazing conversation. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, more with these beautiful ladies.
All right.
Has your heater or air conditioner busted? Appliance broken? Computer crashed? Then you need an ARW home warranty. Home system and appliance repairs and replacements can cause stress and cost you thousands of dollars per year. With an A+ BBB rating and a top-rated home warranty company on Consumer Affairs and Trustpilot, ARW Home provides superior service, featuring the industry's lowest service call fee. ARW Home has warranty plans that cover your kitchen and laundry appliances, heating and air conditioning systems, electrical and plumbing systems, and much more. Call 800-235-1584 to customize your plan. Plus, ARW has partnered with Azurian to protect your new and used tablets, laptops, TVs, and other home tech from accidental damage and wear and tear. All plans come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call 800-235-1584 now for a free quote. That's 800-235-1584.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Robes Studio. Injured recently? Call the Robes Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700. Robes, winning for you and our community. Your home for the True Oldies channel. Have you ever wanted to feel like royalty?
Oh, Jeeves, fetch me my computer so I may log on to the Loyal Listener Club.
Yes, sire.
Join our Loyal Listener Club and sign up today at TrueOldiesFLA.com. Once you're a member, you'll be eligible to get special deals, participate in exclusive contests, and more. Plus, you'll get our newsletter in your inbox, packed with information on your favorite oldies personalities, inside information on your favorite artists, and great music insights. Visit TrueOldiesFLA.com and join the Loyal Listener Club today. This hurricane season, count on Oldies 95.9 and 106.9 and our partners WPBF ABC Channel 25 meteorologist to track the tropics and keep you informed in the event of a storm.
It's headed right for us!
On your TV or on your radio, we got you covered.
Tropical storm watch will likely see heavy rains starting tonight.
Oldies 95.9 and WPBF ABC Channel 25, tracking the tropics.
Call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
Do you own a timeshare? At first, maybe it seemed like a great investment, but then you realized a lot of the promises made to you were simply not true. A little later, you started receiving the monthly maintenance fees and additional associated bills they failed to mention when you signed the agreement. And now their fees keep rising. Your times to actually use the timeshare keep shrinking, and the resort has no interest in letting you out of the agreement. Your vacation dream has turned into a timeshare nightmare. An overwhelming, never-ending financial obligation that will fall on your children after you're gone. And it seems as if there is no way out. Well, here's some great news. There is a way out. The Timeshare Exit Hotline has helped hundreds of people just like you. Desperate people who thought they were stuck in this burden forever. Although most professionals in the timeshare industry are legitimate, there are those that use aggressive, sometimes even misleading sales tactics to try and trick innocent people into signing their lives away. We've heard many stories of people who have been lied to and others who were kept in a room for over 10 hours, not provided water or anything to eat, pressured until they were exhausted. These people finally signed a contract just to get out of there. If you're one of the unfortunate people who have been roped into a timeshare nightmare and feel there is no way out, call the number on your screen right now. When we take your case, it means we are highly confident that we can win. We'll provide you with an affordable, one-time fixed fee and our 100% client satisfaction guarantee. Now you don't have to face arrogant, aggressive salespeople alone. We're experts in consumer protection, real estate, and contract law. Even if they bullied you into an agreement, rest assured they're not going to bully us. So don't wait. Call us right now. Even if you've tried another company that failed you, call us. Our track record of successful negotiations speaks for itself. The call is free, the information is free, and there is absolutely no obligation. A single phone call could free you of this burden. So don't wait. Call the Timeshare Exit Hotline right now.
Has your heater or air conditioner busted? Appliance broken? Computer crashed? Then you need an ARW home warranty. Home system and appliance repairs and replacements can cause stress and cost you thousands of dollars per year. With an A+ BBB rating and a top-rated home warranty company on Consumer Affairs and Trustpilot, ARW Home provides superior service, featuring the industry's lowest service call fee. ARW Home has warranty plans that cover your kitchen and laundry appliances, heating and air conditioning systems, electrical and plumbing systems, and much more. Call 800-235-1584 to customize your plan. Plus, ARW has partnered with Azurian to protect your new and used tablets, laptops, TVs, and other home tech from accidental damage and wear and tear. All plans come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call 800-235-1584 now for a free quote. That's 800-235-1584.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-796-1182. 800-796-1182. 800-796-1182. That's 800-796-1182.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf.
800-485-8801. 800-485-8801. That's 800-485-8801.
The New View Show, where we offer insightful discussion, in-depth discussion, and meaningful conversation on topics that matter most. Now, back to the show.
Welcome to the New View. Here we are, and now we're gonna choose another topic. Who wants to go?
We can talk about that all day. Let's try something new.
Okay.
I'm looking at her face. What is the topic?
Marginalization of women of color. How does this affect you?
Oh, wow.
Wow. I think this is a very heavy topic because I've had some experiences. I would say that it's really painful, to say the least. I remember our director of operations, he spoke at a conference for youth, and they talked about what it means to be Black. And his response, I thought, was so profound. He said, it means to be seen and to not be seen. And so for me, that question was not being seen or being seen. So if you were being seen, it was, you know, everything in a negative aspect. And not being seen, not seeing the value, the worth, the hard work. So, you know, we could talk about this really all day. Yes. So I think that it's really, when you think about it, it's really about, when we talk about deeper issues, when we're dealing with things, in some aspects, I think it's about insecurity. There was a video that I saw that spoke about how, you know, you can have two people of different, you know, cultures or nationalities, and they have the same exact thing, the same house, the same car, you know, the same everything. And she spoke about how there would still be a hatred because that person had color, melanin, which we talk about all the time. And she talked about how even for European women, how they want someone that's tall, dark, and handsome. So for me, you know, working in corporate America, it was something where, again, it just goes back to you're either always seen but in a negative light, or you're not seen, you're not given opportunities because of like a groupthink mentality. So I think I've said enough.
Anybody else wants to share your experience?
What was the question again? I need to understand the actual question. Marginalized of women of color, how does this affect you? I can't really say affected me, to be honest, because I've been blessed that every job that I've had, they've opened the door and gave me opportunities because they saw this single woman that worked hard. Everything I had, I earned it, and they gave it to me. Yeah, I had to work a little bit harder. I had to have the proper, degrees and all that to back up my skill set. But I was never left to feel any way. So I mean, it's really I can't say I've been impacted in any way, shape, or form because I never felt. All my employers never made me feel that way. I was blessed, and I'm very thankful that I never. I mean, even going out, I don't know. I just never felt it. By the grace of God.
Wow, that's beautiful that you never felt it. To be honest with you, that makes me so happy.
Yeah,
I
didn't. I have never. I mean, and maybe it was because maybe God was shielding me from it. But all my employers, I can honestly say, I never at any. I worked for everything I got, and they gave me what I earned.
That's beautiful. Yeah. I wish my experience would have had a little bit more of this, to be honest with you, because I think once I didn't grow up in this country, right? I grew up in Russia and Sweden, and I think each country has their own systemic flaws. Yes. And when I joined U.S. corporate America, I honestly was very, very, I guess, blissfully ignorant to a lot of the things that were happening here. But once I started, becoming, I guess, aware, there were, in our case, right, we worked side by side, and I would blatantly see certain things take place with just me and you, and we had long conversations about this, and you've been one of my most, amazing teachers of culture and of life. And to see that, my voice can carry longer than Satonya's voice in certain settings just because Satonya looked a certain way, right? And those things to me, I was not aware of. And I started becoming aware, I think it was once we started having these honest conversations about, hey, what do you feel when you walk into a room? And hey, this is what I feel when I walk into a room. And, just watching, my journey in corporate America became that of watching really amazing women of color not be valued to the extent that, and this is just women of color, men of color, specifically in the liquor industry, I think there's a very small proportion of people of color in general. And to see that somebody from France who is a white man who comes into this country and just gets privileged to be put up top right away because this person looks a certain way was very disheartening. It became one of those journeys where I wanted to believe more, and then I was faced with the reality of this is not how it looks like. So no matter how many roses you think you're gonna see, this is kind of the icky, sticky reality. And I feel grateful that I was part of a team where people were that honest, where we could have these honest conversations that are like, hey, if it comes from you, it sounds like this, but if it comes from me, it sounds like this. And we would have these exchanges, right, very freely, I think, in our team because of you, Satonya. Like it was. And then my partner is also very, very much aware of like, hey, like I see certain things happening in your team. Like this is really, really not okay, and this is not okay. How come nobody's saying anything? And it was just so much fear, I think, holding back people from losing their jobs, from saying something that is not right, but is not being acknowledged as not right. It's just being acknowledged as just the way we do business. So that's just the way it's always been done. Oh, it's just too sensitive. We can't talk about this topic right now. I mean, I heard excuses after excuses, and I still think there's so much room for growth and improvement in the corporate America when it comes to that, because it's, to me, this is in some ways an exciting time, because all the old paradigm thinking, which I call this the old paradigm, when you are valuing people based on how they look, based upon old conditioning, whether that comes from the historic events that have taken place in this country, in the world, and whether it's colorization, colonization, racism. And I think that's the old paradigm that is now being, so to say, how to say,
slowly coming out,
right? And it has to come to the surface for us to see it, for us to honestly see the ugliness of it and say, we don't want that anymore. And I believe we're all, we're here in this lifetime. I believe we are ushering in this new paradigm of, hey, my value does not depend on how I look. I am worthy because I was created as a gift on this earth. And whether I look like this, I am a gift here, and I'm here to shine. And I want to help create more environments where we can have these conversations, where we can just see each other for the spirit, for the souls that we are. So my answer is that it has affected me in ways where it's taught me that it's not the same for everyone. Absolutely not. And looking like I do today has had one set of privileges for sure in this country. I can attest to that because this is where I experienced it all. And we have a lot of room for improvement. And it's all about having these type of honest conversations of where we really are, because we cannot say, no, it's like in corporate America, I think we said it for a lot of years, no, we don't have a problem here, we don't have a problem here. And then once pandemic happened and once George Floyd murder took place in front of all of us, I think it was very hard for the spaces we were in
To
to
hide
say
it. And
to
say,
hide
no,
it,
no,
right?
nothing is happening.
right.
Yeah.
Because then people started looking like, oh no, we're doing this to combat this. We're doing this, and it was a lot of, I still would like to see what has really been done on a foundational level, because I think it was a lot of fires that were being put out because people were being afraid of being called out because there was money involved, and people were afraid of, companies were afraid of losing money, so they were doing efforts to create more diversity and more conversations like this, honest conversations.
They're having a lot of diversity classes and courses and sensitivity. Yeah, because I still work for this nonprofit organization, and it's a university, and as a field interviewer, and they have a lot of diversity courses and training, like spring training. Like every year you have to be recertified. You got to take the diversity class. You got to take this. And you have to pass it before you can be. Even though you're actually on staff, you got to take it. There's no ifs, ands, about it. Every year you have to be recertified because they are hypersensitive about LGBT community, Black people that transgender, everything that you can think of that people can discriminate about, they are very sensitive about that.
That's awesome.
I love to see that there are more classes and more ways for people to have the right information, right? What I would like to see more is the application of that information, because still, for me, there is a gap. And for me, the most difficult thing when I came into this country is like, that's normal. What do you mean about that? I cannot treat somebody different because the way they look. Don't ask me that. That's not going to happen with me, right? So it was really difficult in that sense.
So there's theory, right?
Yeah.
And then there's practice.
Yes.
Right.
And that was a part of the problem. That in practice, you didn't even really acknowledge, You said, well, we're doing this and we're doing that, and systemically, how does that help? What did it change really? You formed committees, you had meetings, you had discussions, what is the application? And especially when you're dealing with different corporate brands and you are profiting off of a minority demographic, and that is not reflected in your organization and leadership. And so again, there's perception and then there's reality. So if you're not applying and saying, and doing those things, then it's counterproductive.
Right.
Totally. Look, we can talk about this for long time.
Yes.
So what about if we change the topic?
Let's try another.
Yeah, who wants to go?
A little lighter.
I don't know. Let's see.
Okay.
Oh.
Dress codes in the workplace environments. What is considered provocative?
Satonya, you were talking a little bit about that, right?
Yes.
How difficult it is to get into your own style, right?
I used to call how I dressed, for nightlife, sexy conservative. So if I was in nightlife, I didn't dress like short dresses. I mean, it would still work for me, but it's nightlife. So for me, it was about, as much as I wanted to be behind the scenes, and I was behind the scenes for production, everyone knew how I dressed. Like, she's in charge. Who is she? She's making things happen. So for me, that was intentional, that I would, wear like a pop of color or something that was fit and flare was my go-to. That was really all I needed. So for me, it wasn't really provocative, but, I am who I am. So I born. Born that way.
Born that way, yeah.
What about you?
I had to think about it. Even as you were talking, I was just like, I wonder if there are different rules for, depending on the body type of the woman, right?
Yes.
One thing can look provocative on me, but on a woman who's shaped differently might not. So I actually struggle with that a lot, especially coming to corporate from nightlife, literally from nightlife. I struggle with that. And I was in New York, and New York is very different style than Miami. It's even more corporate. And I remember struggling with that because what was okay for me in nightlife was no longer all of a sudden okay here.
Right.
It was very different perspectives on my body. And also in Miami, we're kind of half naked half the time. Like in Florida, we are. I mean, we're showing a lot of skin compared to other states.
Right.
You know, majority of the time. So I think my perspective on all of that was so skewed when I first got the job, I remember even in New York. So I will say I struggled with this specifically and getting there to getting to a classy place. You were an example for me, and I think Marty, I had like people like Marty, Courtney, Natalia, who was showing me what it can look like. But when I met Satonya, I will be honest with you, it was like my world changed when I first moved to Florida because I met Satonya and she was just like, well, you can wear it like this, and you had your own flair. You know what it is? A lot. And it was sexy and it was stylish. So it wasn't provocative. It was always stylish. And I struggle with that because for me, the provocativeness of it, I don't know. I grew up in Russia, people, okay?
So have you ever got the feedback like, oh wow, too much, too sexy, you have to change, or something like that?
Yes.
Especially after the.
Oh my God.
But I think a part of what you said was, two people could wear the same thing, and based on your physique, it would capture someone else's attention. They wouldn't say something to one person, but they would say, but this is how you are, this is your physique, this is how you're shaped. You can't control that.
Yeah, and also I think that is one thing what you wear and how you wear it, right? Because it can be like this, but if you are sexy and everything, it make a big difference, right?
That's true too.
I used to work in an investment bank, and the dress code is like suits, right? But I was like, okay, I can wear the suit, but underneath I have always like sexy tops, right? And I remember I used to work on this side of the office, and it was all glass office, right? And the guys from the other side, later on, they confessed that they used to make
deposit.
No, they used to play like what she's gonna wear today, and they keep looking. They have whatever, and then but that's in Latin America. That's fun. That's not considered harassment or anything like here, right? So it was fun, and for them it was like, oh no, today you're so sexy or whatever, and whatever.
Interesting.
It's like, but it was fun because for them it was like, what is it was the expectation, what she's gonna wear today.
So they could say those things to you, and it was. Wow.
No problem. Well, yeah. Latin America, that's almost like, hi, how are you? It's nothing offensive, really. Of course, if they don't cross the line. But just the comment, that's no problem.
Right.
No problem. But now that we talk about this, I remember that because I said, really? So they even, play for that.
For me, what I consider provocative for me is when your boobs are protruding.
Too much cleavage.
You can see you're seeing too much, and you're wearing see-through clothes. I worked with someone for a couple of years that she would come dressed half naked, and no one would say anything to her. And then I was like, why is not anyone saying anything to her? But we never really had a real dress code. And I would come in there all conservative and very dressy, and they were like, where are you going? Like, it was like, for me to dress up, it was like, oh, are you going on the interview? No, this is how I dress. I dress very conservative. I make sure I don't show any cleavage. I dress professional. So that was my thing.
I think that is also what you want to show, right? Because sometimes if you want to be professional, you dress one way, but also there are people that they think that they have to dress certain way to take attention.
Yes.
And that's
that's their intention.
Yeah.
Exactly. And for me, and I do think that there are certain outfits that you put on. You're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hurt them with this one. And that's just because, you look good, you feel good, that exudes from you. So, again, whether it's clothes or makeup, it's still an enhancement. Clothes are even enhancement.
Right.
Because if we didn't have clothes.
It's true. That's very good. Yes,
oh
yes.
my.
And what about, do you think that it's the same for men? They have the same thing? That what they wear is important for work?
Not for me. I mean, because all the men I've worked with, I mean, I got to admit, I've been very blessed that every place that I've worked with, the men have dressed according to, they don't dress provocative. They're very stickler on how to dress, how they carry themselves. They're very just, you know, they walk the walk and they talk the talk when they were in my presence and what I observed. And so I was blessed in that aspect. But the women, they were trifling.
Very good. So this is it. That's the end of the show. Thank you very much for watching us. This is a new view, and we have been having so much fun. See you next time. Thank you.
And that concludes another thought-provoking episode of The New You Show. We hope that our exploration of diverse perspectives and in-depth conversations has left you with a renewed sense of curiosity, empathy, and a deeper understanding of the world around us. Remember, the journey does not end here. The discussions sparked by The New View Show are meant to continue beyond the confines of this program. We encourage you to take what you've learned, share it with others, and engage in meaningful conversations in your communities, both online and offline. Thank you for watching, and join us next time.